Internet of Things or IoT can be applied into many different things in everyday life, healthcare, cities, agriculture, industrial automation, disaster management, and more. First, we have Internet of Things in our daily lives. This is probably a hallmark in the IoT industry as it's also one of the first industries to deploy IoT added service. So let me give you an example of how IoT can serve us in our daily lives. Consider a home appliance such as your air conditioner. Currently, what we do is turn on your AC and wait for it to reach a certain temperature, say about 26 degrees Celsius. This is a perfectly functional setting, but what if it could be improved? Let's say you're out of your home and your car was 5 minutes away and your AC received a message. What if it was connected to a cloud which had a dashboard containing all the relevant information like the location of your car, the outside temperature, and the temperature at which you like, and you can then turn on the AC before you arrive and create an ambience ready for you once you get home? Just a figment of your imagination of the technological world thanks to the Internet of Things. IoT can connect your vehicles, smartphones to your in-flight services from home appliances to whole entire cities, our everyday lives. Next, we have IoT in healthcare. Most people probably have heard about the smart medicine dispensers by now. As the name suggests, it's basically a smart appliance that stores, dispenses, and manages your medicines for you. Now, this is just a small piece of a very big picture. The healthcare and the general practice of medicine majorly faces issues in one or more of these three things. Medical research has to rely upon leftover data in controlled settings for medical examination. It lacks real world data which can solve critical conditions. IoT could be the answer to all these problems. IoT opens ways to a sea of valuable data through analysis and real time testing. Internet of Things empowers healthcare professionals and improves the quality of care. Finally, it ultimately reduces the unsustainably high costs of medical devices. Here's an example. This is basically an outline of how a care device works. A device has certain parameters that are considered safe. Once one of them is breached, the sensor immediately relays this message via a secure gateway to a cloud. Now, it is vital for this gateway to be secure as it holds all valuable medical records. The cloud then passes a remote signal to a smart device that is monitored by either by a nurse or a caretaker at home. The beauty of remote patient monitoring is that patients can now replace a long wait at the doctor's office with a quick data share and instructions on how to proceed. IoT hence bridges the gap between reading devices and delivering healthcare by creating a systems rather than just equipment. Another good thing is that connected devices have a huge advantage over the technology used, as they can leverage user feedback to almost immediately updated software. The bigger the community, the more reliable these devices become. Now, moving on to one of the most talked about prospects of IoT, cities being the smart cities. Now, the thing about a smart city is that a smart city solution is very specific to that one city. Even global issues such as waste control, traffic management, availability of drinking water, housing, and pollution impact different cities with different intensities. So, the only way to really make a city smarter is to cater specifically to its own problem. One such problem consistent among urban cities is traffic. Imagine an intelligent device like a traffic camera, a camera that can monitor the road of traffic jams, accidents, rains, etc., and communicate that status to a gateway. Now, this gateway also receives data from various other cameras from all around the city. This in itself could form a citywide traffic system. Now, where can we use it? Say the municipal corporation has decided to repair a road which connects to a highway for more than one city. Now, this could cause a massive congestion. A smart camera could send this insight to the citywide traffic system. Now, considering this is a smart traffic system, it quickly learns and predicts patterns in traffic. It will analyze the situation and predict its impact and relay this information to other cities that connect to the highway via their own monitoring systems. Now, the traffic management systems then can derive rules for cars around this project. Live instructions could be sent to drivers via radio channels and their respective smart devices. What a bonus is that if there is a school or an office building which has no other way but to use that road under construction, they can be automatically be called, serving as notification. This then creates a network of dependent systems which leverage real-time control. And this is just one example of the potential benefits of IoT application. Next, we have a sector which is most neglected despite the importance it holds, that is agriculture. Manual handling often results in loss of energy, labor cost, and other inaccuracies, which make all its processes less effective. Internet of Things here can provide with a number of solutions. Precision farming, smart irrigation, and smart greenhouse are a few to name. The first two cases are pretty similar, as in both cases there are sensors detecting various parameters at each level of the soil shown here. We have moisture content, temperature, and weather conditions. One can tell the correct depths, so the crops are at the right time to be watered. But one of the more intriguing solutions is the smart greenhouse. So, if we could use embedded devices in these greenhouses, we could not only just monitor it regularly, but we could practically control the climate inside the greenhouse. How the system works is that the sensor sends various parameters and areas of issue inside the greenhouse. They then relay the information via connection gateway to the cloud, which then sends remote commands via the same gateway back to the sensors. So once these signals are acknowledged, they are passed on to the switchgear, which then activate the lighting pumps and turbines inside the greenhouse, creating an artificial sunlight and sometimes artificial precipitation inside the greenhouse. What more from the connection gateway? As you can see, there is a monitor through which 24/7 real-time monitoring has come into effect. Also, you could use any smart device to monitor the conditions inside the greenhouse. With eliminations of irregularities and human errors, this creates a much more efficient system. Another domain where IoT could prove to be a game changer is one of those fields where both faster developments as well as the quality of products are the critical factors for a higher return on investment, the industrial automation sector. But there are still a few problems that needs to be addressed in this sector. Inconsistent data entry, time consumption, training costs, security, and even more. Internet of Things improves the line of command immensely. It optimizes packaging and makes quality tests so much easier to run. What more you don't have to worry about is the staff training costs or staff going on a holiday because these factories pretty much run on their own. You can monitor the supply chain in real time while keeping an eye on your inventories with IoT applications. One could even engineer products and their packaging to deliver better performance in both cost and customer experience. Now let's look at disaster management. Now, IoT cannot stop these disasters from happening, but it surely can help in preparedness and resilience during work due to high population density, poor evacuation infrastructure, and exposure to severe weather events. Developing countries are more exposed to the risks of natural disasters and often have limited means to sustain the effects. As a consequence, according to a study, more than 95% of all deaths are caused by a disaster occurring in developing countries. IoT can compensate for this by prediction, preparedness, response, and recovery to rescue developing and emerging countries from their vulnerable positions. Let me give you an example of a forest fire where IoT could be used as a solution to be prepared. For critical incidents, forest fire sensors are installed near the perimeters of the forest. They contribute to data feeds about temperature and carbon emissions to control room, which is common to the entire town. This is done via secure network gateway in real time. They anticipate problems and put defenses in place to mitigate the impact, namely the police, the nearby hospitals, and most importantly, the fire brigade. If such an emergency occurs near urban areas, people and communities are alerted via social media, conventional media channels, and SMS. Now that we've gone through a few applications of IoT, let's move on towards future scope. Now, in just 1 year, internet connected devices went from 5 million to billions, but there are still a few areas that need work. The devices forming the base of IoT are wireless in nature and reside at the very remote places where energy is a very vital issue. So, with growing functionality of each device, we need algorithms and hardware that are energy efficient. To avoid quick draining of batteries, we need to make sure that sensors are active for longer durations. Although IoT has started to adopt solar energy for this. Like any other advancement in technology, even IoT security is a standout issue. This issue keeps getting bigger, with more and more devices being connected to one another. We need information seclusion methods to benefit end clients and secure that data and privacy. Better cybersecurity technology keeps growing to this day. It will be really tough to implement the anytime concept of IoT in reality, but this needs continuous work. And the closest we can get to this is only by reducing the complexity of each existing time systems. We need to do continuous work to reduce the gap between near real time and actual real time. IoT applications promise to bring immense value to our lives. In fact, the number of openings for IoT professionals is at all-time high. IoT is peaking it way even through the government, education, and even law enforcement. So it would be best to begin exploring the true potential of this technology.